Everybody. I wanted to come in and talk a little bit about the recent UT decisions and that feeling that many families can get of feeling discouraged that there's no way to get into UT outside the top 6%. And having done this a long time, even with it getting increasingly more competitive, we do see quite a few kids getting in outside the top 6%. I want to talk a little bit about how families might prepare younger students for that. First of all, there are the way that UT reviews students requires students to kind of engage in a path towards UT sooner rather than later. So waiting till say spring of the junior year and then deciding I'm UT or bust is going to be hard because there's really a pathway up to that. The first thing that a student really has to consider is to start exploring major at a younger age, especially if a student is interested in majors that are highly competitive, like computer science, engineering, business, nursing. And what I mean by exploring those is starting to have engagement or activities that match up with that major. Why is it so important to start young? Well, for like a computer science major, and this is true across the country, is you have got to have a pretty robust resume that started younger and has increasing kind of responsibilities and difficulty over time. So if you start that late junior year, you just aren't as competitive as the rest of the students who are applying. Now let's take this with other majors. If you start younger in exploring your major, you have time to try on some things like trying on clothes. Does this fit? Does it not fit? And then take that to start to see either a major that actually interests you or a bucket of majors or interests so that when you're applying to UT, you have an eye on which major you're going to apply to. Because the decision of what major you're going to apply to is outside of the top 6% is the most important decision you will make in this whole process of applying to UT. So I cannot stress that enough, that sometimes I see students just wanting to, oh yeah, I'll just pick this. This has to be something that a student has thought about, has gotten experience in, can show that experience on that expanded resume, and hopefully has multiple beats that are going to show that they're interested in that. And that needs to be outside of just coursework. Coursework is great and will show some of the story, but a student's got to have a robust listing of activities over time that show interest, impact, initiative in that major area. And I think this is the thing that trips up a lot of students to UT. Second is, in that same vein, some majors are a lot harder than other majors. So just to say randomly choose biology because you may want to study something in the medical field down the line may not be your smartest choice. Now, if you know you want to be a biologist, work in the lab, get experience towards that, and you could become a solid biology major. But you've really got to think about how those activities track to the major. And then some of the majors are especially difficult. And that's great to go for those. You have to know, are you UT or bust? Or are you biochemistry or bust? And so that's what you've got to weigh. If you're biochemistry and UT or bust, you need to start really early to have a great trajectory. And in those more competitive majors, your grades are going to be more important than in some of the less competitive majors where you're still going to need a lot of A's, but you could have some B's sprinkled in there and that would be okay. So looking at how you actually have activities to fit that major over time is one of the most critical parts of this process. Ultimately, where are those things going to live? Like, why are you doing this kind of? Because there's two places where that's going to live. That's going to live on your resume, which at UT is a long, what we call expanded resume, 3 to 5 pages with a lot of detail. So not really a resume like parents think of. And then 2, you're going to be reflecting on that in your essays. So if you don't have those things, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Now, of course, your grades are important, the rigor of your coursework. Historically, test scores, except in the most competitive majors, has not been important. And we have seen lots of kids getting in test optional, even in some of those very competitive majors. But right now, what students who are eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, early junior, it is about honing in on what major is that and how do I show and demonstrate that I am a good fit for that major. And I'm going to give you a little piece of good news here. This is going to help you in all the rest of your colleges. It's also going to help you thrive in college. So this actually helps you in many ways. But I really do want to encourage you, if you are UT or bust and you're not in the top 6%, there is a way to increase the likelihood of you having success, but it is going to take planning along the way. It's not a last minute decision. Thanks so much and good luck.